Hi, I'm Simone from inhometrainer.ca, and I'm going to show you a review of these resistance bands that I bought on Amazon. So stay tuned. Feel free to check out our website and information in the description box below. Like, comment, and subscribe. If you're familiar with resistance bands, then you know they are a great exercise or a great piece of equipment to use, and they have a ton of different exercises for them. So they're different compared to dumbbells because there's constant resistance, and it just comes with a ton of colorful resistance bands. This is the beauty that you want to look for on your resistance bands, where it comes with a door attachment. If you could see that, each one is different. I've had resistance bands where the door attachment isn't big and round like this, but rather flat, and then there's like a little piece of a solid metal in the fabric. And I think that one's better than this one, to be honest, because it's just a little bit easier to slide in. This can kind of fall down. It's a bit too bulky. And to tell which one is easier or harder, just give it a tug. Like, look at me tugging this. Okay, so you can see the resistance there versus tugging the lightest one, which is the yellow one. You see the difference? So this is so much easier, lower resistance compared to the black. It also comes with some instructions or some examples of the exercise. Now, I've seen better ones, and this is pretty small. I don't even know if you'd be able to see this. Okay, so I'm gonna show you how to use the door attachment to get these inserted in the door so that you can use them. So I am going to open up the door and slide this part in and make sure that this is outside, so it's not in the door, so that when I shut the door will be closed on this, and as you can see here, this is where the tension is going to be, so it can't come out. Here I am. I'm gonna put this in the door, and I'm shutting the door, making sure it's shut firmly. I'm pulling on the door, it's not opening, and this is so important if you're doing in-home training, to make sure that the equipment you're using is not only perfect for using in-home, but also that you're staying safe. So I'm also tugging on it just to make sure that it's nice and secure. The door may open up a tiny bit here, like at the top, but the main thing is that this area here is nice and snug and it's not open. And if you want to have that extra security, just lock the door. Okay, and now I know it's all good to go. I'm going to do the exercises that they provided on this sheet, even though I told you they're pretty small, but I want to do a good actual product review and actually use the products that they gave exactly as they recommended them to be used. So one of the first exercises, and as an in-home personal trainer, not all of these exercises I agree with, by the way. If you want to see more information, again, visit our website down below, and you can see our Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, etc. So yeah, not all of these I agree with, but the best one I think I'm going to try is the row. I'm going to try the row. There's a lot of options here, so it's good for you as a consumer to really get a taste and see like which one you'd be willing to try. But when you're starting with new equipment, I recommend you just take it easy, do a couple exercises here and there with it, and just get a feel for it before you like do a ton of different movements, because you want to make sure that your body gets used to what you're putting it through, and also assess how you feel the next day. Are you sore? Are you injured anywhere? And take it day by day. I'm not sure what exactly he's doing, and it doesn't seem like they have a social media or anything to go through, but it says 54 exercises. So I'm gonna do this one right here. So I don't know if he's rowing his arms forward and back, but I'm gonna see if I can do that one. Okay. So when you're doing the exercise with the resistance band, it's best to face exactly forward and do it, but you can come off to the side as well. You can go over here. Either way works, but usually when you're facing directly, that's kind of the best position to get it in. So he was in a low squat. And get in this position, and then it looked like he was doing back like this. Yeah, and I feel it exactly where it said it should be felt in the chart there, which is right in here, which is the rhomboids, a little bit of the lats, and this is great for working on posture. And if you want, you can do both arms back and forth, squeezing the core, and you're also going to feel in the biceps because of that rowing motion that you're doing. And this is great again because you have that constant resistance. Whenever you're using resistance bands, what you don't want is for this to happen. You see how there's that slack? That means you're not getting that constant resistance. And the whole point of resistance bands is that we have that constant resistance, so we're working the body the entire time through the entire movement. So make sure that that resistance there the whole time and you're not letting it get slack like that, unless you're finishing the exercise or transitioning onto a new exercise. So these are great, and I'm going to try to add the yellow lowest resistance band to it because I know I can go a little bit harder, but I don't want to go 100% full effort yet. So I'm going to add the yellow resistance band to this. I am going to hook it at the bottom here, hooking it in so that both of them are attached to the handle. And then I'm going to loop it through here so I don't have to take it out the door and do it again. And attach it to the other side. Perfect. Now I'll just readjust to make sure they're both nice and straight and they look great. And I'm going to do the same thing. Oh wow, you can definitely feel that difference. And the thing with resistance bands too is they're going to like pull you a little bit. So you have to make sure that you stay strong, engage that core, and pull those shoulder blades back. So I'm getting into that squat, pulling one arm, pulling the other. Make sure that this doesn't happen. You see how I'm letting it pull me forward? I'm trying to stay strong here. I'm in control. Beautiful. And what I love about resistance bands too is that if you have struggle with squats and you notice that you kind of, when you're doing the squat, you feel like you're gonna fall, with resistance bands, because you're holding on to them, it gives you that extra stability. So you can go so low without feeling that instability and lack of balance because you're holding on to it at the same time. So I really like these, and it's not on the page there, but you could do exercises like this. So we have a lot of options. I'm going to try the ankle attachment, and we'll do an exercise that they've put in that pamphlet, and I'll be right back. So I feel like my ankles are pretty strong, so what I'm going to do is use the thickest one, the strongest one, the black one, and I've already attached the ankle attachment here. But the thing is, this side doesn't have anything, so what do you do when this happens? I will show you. We're going to go back to this one that we just used. I'm going to take off this one. Okay, and I'm also going to take off the door attachment because we need that one. I'm going to pick back up the black one, and as you know, there's nothing on this end. So what I'm going to do is put this one onto this one. So now we have the handle on this side and the ankle attachment on this side. And then we're going to loop the door attachment through, and I'll show you how we insert this into the door so that we can use it to do ankle exercises or leg exercises. So we are going to open the door. We're going to put this in the door, and I'm going to put it lower in the door this time. Okay, I'm locking the door, and every door is going to be different. You're going to have doors that are stronger, doors that can handle it more, and some doors you just can't do it on. From here, what you're going to do is you're going to get the handle attachment here and the ankle attachment here, and you're going to loop the ankle attachment through the handle. You're going to put the handle by the door. Make sure that it fits in nicely. So it's just sliding to the door, but you're just trying to make it nice and straight. Perfect. So now it's nice and straight here. And then I'm going to wrap it around my ankle The Velcro is going to be on the outside, and then I'm going to loop it through the hole here and push it on the Velcro. I'm going to try one of the exercises they have, which is just extending the leg back and forward. And there's other ones you can do as well, but we're just going to keep it nice and basic and simple. So from here, I'm going to hold on to the wall for some stability, okay? And then I'm going to extend the leg back and forth. And as you can see, it got loose there, so I can step back further and do the same thing. And now that resistance is all the way there. Or I can face completely away and bring up the knee and then bring it back, bring up the knee. So there's a lot of options here. Just keeping that resistance here and having the handle attached like this really helps to make it a little bit more sturdy, and then you get that distance as well. So I'm going to unhook this, take out the Velcro, open the door. So this is what it'll look like after. As you can see, I hooked it through here, this part. So I'm just going to unhook it and take off the door attachment, because I'm now going to show you exercises to do with the resistance band without having to use the door attachment. Stay tuned for that. So I want to do some of these resistance band exercises sitting down, but again, the images here are kind of not very helpful. As you can see, they're a little bit dark and they're very tiny. So I was thinking of doing the one on the ball, but I'm not really seeing what's going on there. And I know this sheet is crumpled. I've had it for a couple months, like I said, but it's not the easiest to see. So I'm just gonna try doing some on my own. And the only thing I find too with resistance bands like this is it can take away from the workout sometimes when you're unhooking and hooking it back. So use that as your rest time, or march on the spot as you're doing it, so that you keep that heart rate up. So what I'm gonna do is step into the resistance band. One foot steps in, other foot steps in, and I'm gonna do a bicep curl. So this is how it looks. I'm squeezing the glutes, squeezing the core, looking forward. And as you can see, that resistance is all throughout. And I'm not letting it get loose by letting my hands drop all the way down. I'm keeping that resistance. Another one you can do is both arms back and in, back and in. So we get the back and we get the triceps. Okay. We can also do a row like this, but I find because I'm shorter, the resistance gets a bit loose here. If a taller person did this, maybe they'd have that continuous resistance. So what you could do is just open up the legs a bit wider, have that resistance band be shorter, and pull up and down. Okay, and the beauty of this too is that we could put it in one hand, and again, you're stepping, like your feet are stepping right here. So I'm gonna get both my feet to step in that center. I'm gonna grab my one hand, and I'm gonna do the same thing up and down. So I'm focusing on that one side, and then focus on the other side. Perfect. So I'm just gonna put these all back in here. I love how it fits in there neatly and easily, and I could tuck it away for next time. So thank you so much for watching. If I were to give a review of these resistance bands compared to like the 4 other companies I've tried, I would say these are great. The only thing I would like to change is the door attachment. I just didn't like the thick part, like I was saying, which was a bit more cumbersome, but it still worked either way. And I do like the handles. I just didn't like how they were already starting to fray. And I didn't like the instructions. or the demonstrations that came with it. This is too small, the images are way too small, and it's not very useful. So overall, I would give this maybe a 7 out of 10 compared to the other ones I've had. Oh, and I also didn't like that I didn't have the numbers on each resistance band, or the pounds, the 10-pound resistance, 20-pound resistance, etc. So overall though, it's still a good product. I got good use out of it, and I see myself using this until, you know, it no longer works and the resistance bands are old. And you'll be able to tell, by the way, that your resistance bands need to be, you know, retired when there's a bit of fraying or cuts, not as tight, it doesn't come back when you stretch it as much. So that's a sign to know that your resistance bands are old and you need to get some new ones. So would I repurchase this specific brand again? Probably not, because I've had better resistance bands, but it's still great, especially if you're a beginner or you just want to try them out. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you had fun and learned some new things. Feel free to check us out in the description box below at inhometrainer.ca. And thanks so much for watching. We'll see you in the next video. Like, comment, and subscribe. Bye!